Hi, I'm Robert Begley with day 197 of my video challenge. Last week I spoke about Antigone, who I think is the greatest heroine in the history of theater. She was created by Sophocles, the author, the playwright, 5th century BC. His date's 496 to 406. Lived to be 90 years old. Had a full life, incredible life, witnessed a lot of pivotal events, was a contemporary of, there was Aeschylus, Euripides, and oh boy, can't remember the other playwright who was a little bit after him. He actually, Aeschylus is the one he learned from. So he was a little bit younger, but a peer of Socrates. Plato was 21 years old when Sophocles died. And he revolutionized Greek theater in the sense that before Sophocles, there were only two people on stage and they would have a conversation and tell stories. But Sophocles introduced a third person that now there's more conflict, there's more moving parts, and even scenery. He added scenery. By the way, my scenery is the Greek orator, which my dearest Carrie Ann gave me. So whenever I go out and give a presentation, I bring this guy with me, sort of to help me do better. And I think of Sophocles for that matter today. So the man, he served in the military. Of course, back then they always had wars, but he was esteemed. He won like 20 different awards, literary awards, wrote more than 70 plays, of which only 7 have survived. And again, the Antigone, I think, is definitely my favorite. But the one that Aristotle called the greatest play ever is the most popular one, which I'm sure you've heard of it. It is called Oedipus Rex. Oedipus the king, Oedipus tyranny. And what's the story? Everyone has heard the perverted version, which is that Oedipus is told, it's foretold by Apollo that he will kill his father and marry his mother. Something wrong with that, right? Well, here's the part that you don't always hear. He spends his entire life, he leaves the town that he was from in order to just start over and be as far away from who his parents were, so that that will not happen. And guess what? When he finds out his father was killed, he's looking for the murderer, only to be told that it actually was him, because he's adopted as a child. And so there's a lot of mystery there about the events. And when he finds out that he married his mother and has 4 children, 2 sons, 2 daughters, Antigone being one of the daughters, he plucks his own eyes out. She dies, but he plucked that. Hence the picture of the eyes in Oedipus. I was 12, 13 years old when I first heard of this story. And what was the context? Rock music. That was my school. I went to the School of Rock when I was a kid. Back then, 12, 13 years old, Jim Morrison was my guy. I was obsessed with the Doors. My favorite Doors song to this day is called The End. On their first album, it's like an 11-minute song. But in the middle of the song, Morrison does this, it's not a rap. He just tells a story about a man who walks on down the hall and says, "Father, yes, son, I want to kill you. Mother, I want to." And I'm like, what is that? And I remember reading in a rock magazine, I think Cream or some rock magazine, that that part is inspired by Oedipus, Sophocles, the story of Oedipus. So I've known about that version, that story for some time. But man, it is an incredible story, especially a theatrical version. Really powerful. So Sophocles, paying tribute to him tomorrow on the Hero Show. So important to me that when I went to Greece, I picked up dozens of magnets, Aristotle magnets, but one of Sophocles where he says, "It is not my nature to join in hating, but in loving." Yeah, that's my nature too. We'll see you tomorrow with day 198 of the video challenge.